Welcome everyone to our deepening conversation sessions with One Earth Live. I'm Xiuhtezcatl from Uplift, and I'm so excited today that we have Dr. Bruce Lipton joining us for another fireside chat. And many of you know Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's an incredible visionary who's devoted his life to the understanding of epigenetics and how our belief systems can shape who we really are in the world and how we show up in the world. So I'm really excited to have Bruce here. Dr. Bruce, so thank you so much for joining us.
Chris, I am so happy to be here because this kind of organization, this event is the kind of energy and vibration that really goes to shaping a new civilization. And this is why it's so wonderful to have everybody out there in the field, because each one of us is part of an evolution. We're not watching an evolution, we are in evolution. Just a little insight into the nature of this, which changed my life as well when I understood it, was the quantum physics. It's like myself, all my scientific colleagues in medical research, we never got into quantum physics. We always did Newtonian physics, which separated matter from energy and said matter is separate from energy, so we can study the matter and ignore the energy. And this is the nature of our medicine and our belief in the world today. And quantum physics, nearly 100 years ago, said, no, that duality is a misperception. Everything is energy. That vibration is the universe is made out of vibration. This physical body is a device, actually. It's like a spectrum analyzer, meaning with this body and the cells, eyes pick up the energy and turn it into vision. Okay? Smell, when a smell comes in the room and the chemical of a smell gets in the nose cells translate this into a vibration, which we have a sense of smell. Or feelings and emotions are derived from the chemistry, but they're translated into vibration. So the function of this virtual reality suit, so to speak, is the ability to step into a world and see and smell and touch and taste and feel with this device. And I say, but who we are is more than the suit. What we are is like a broadcast that is received by our suits. And each person has a different vibrational frequency, which is based on what is in biology called self-receptors. Point that no two people have the same vibration, and that's why we can't exchange parts like lungs and kidneys and hearts. You can exchange them, but then recognize when you put a foreign organ into a body, it has a different vibration than the cells in that body. And the function of the immune system is take out the conflicting vibration. So when an organ is transplanted from somebody else that has a different identity, then the immune system says not self and eliminates it. And I go, what or where is this identity in biology? Well, then my research led to an understanding that on the surface of the cell membrane, there are these like antennas, which are called proteins. They're receptors, receivers. Okay. And that I say, well, what do these receptors refer to? In medicine, I love it because they call it self-receptors. And that's what they use when they want to check the identity of a potential donor with the identity of a potential receiver. They look at the self-receptor and see if there's any overlap. Because if there is a little overlap, there's less immune rejection. So that's why they select who's going to receive an organ based on identity. But I say, so what's the identity? They say, well, in conventional medicine, these receptors. And I go, you're missing the point, because protein receptors respond to fields of energy. And so when I have a set of receptors responding to a certain set of frequencies, you and everyone else has a different set of receptors for their own frequency. I say, so why is this relevant? I go, well, each of us is a broadcast as identity coming into a suit. So this is the Bruce suit, the TV, and the broadcast is Bruce coming in. So this is the Bruce show. I'm playing through this device right here. And what blew my mind when I was getting into all this stuff about the membrane and how cells worked was, well, wait a minute, the identity is the broadcast. I go, yeah. And I said, But the broadcast is not in the suit. The broadcast is received by the suit. So I said the television analogy, you're watching a TV show, broadcast being picked up, played on your TV. TV breaks, TV is dead. And then I go, is the broadcast still there? And of course the answer is the broadcast is still there. You get another TV and you plug it in and turn it on, but tune it to the station and the same show is back on again. And I go, oh my goodness, in a biological reality, my identity is not in this body. My identity is in that field. The body is like the television, can come and go, but it's all vibration, it's all energy. So now all that big circle comes around to this. So each one of us is a vibration. That's what it is. Quantum physics. Every atom and molecule is a vibrational energy. It's not physical, it's a vibrational energy. So we are each energy beings. And I said, and what about thought? And I said, well, thought is, in a sense, broadcasting. And now we say, well, yeah, but you mean your thoughts are out in the field? And I said, the most valid science on the planet, quantum physics, says our thoughts, our consciousness is creating this life experience. So they go, well, how can that happen? And we understand. Our energy, each is a vibrational frequency, but if I put wires on your head, I could read your brain activity. It's called electroencephalograph. That's what's going on in your consciousness under your brain right here. And I go, yeah. And that led us to believe our thoughts are in our head. But a new device called magnetoencephalograph reads brain function. And I say, yeah, but what's unique? I say, the probe is out here. Stop for a second. The probe is out here. It's reading my brain functions, my consciousness. I go, my consciousness is not contained in my head. My consciousness is a broadcast. And I go, each one of us is a tuning fork with vibration of consciousness of who we are. Mm-hmm. And the beautiful part about what's happening in the world today is the fact that we're beginning to realize that we are a bit more than these physical bodies. There is an energy, and that energy is us. That's a whole concept of it. And quantum physics says, yeah, but energy is creating our life experiences. And then I look out and I go, you mean my thoughts are creating this crazy world? And I go, my thoughts have been programmed to create this crazy world. And that's a natural part of being a human. And I go, okay, what's the story of this? I was programmed? I go, yes. And here's the reason why. Simple. A brain is a computer. We all agree on that. And I say, if you go to the store and you buy a computer and you take it home, you can push the start button and it boots up and it's on. I go, yeah, computer's on. Now I say, do something. What do you mean? I say, do something, draw, write something, do a spreadsheet. You go, oh, I need to have programs. Oh, so you buy the new computer and the next thing you do is what? You put the programs in. And then once the programs are in, then you are capable of interfacing the computer. And I say, a child is born, his brain is developing. In the last trimester of pregnancy, guess what? Operating system is on. It's on. There are no programs. I say, then what is the nature of the nervous system? I say, for the first 7 years of a child's life, the brain is operating at a vibration. It's all vibration, but a vibration below consciousness. It's called theta. In children, it's expressed as imagination. Theta in anybody is expressed as imagination. It's mixing the real world, imaginary world. It's having the tea party where you pour nothing into the cup and drink the nothing and talk about how wonderful the tea was and stuff like that. And that's childhood imagination mixing with reality. That is theta as a character, but theta is hypnosis. I go, why is it relevant? Simple point is this. We're born into a family and we live in a community. Are there rules? Oh my God, there's 1,000 rules. I say, well, how does a child learn thousands of rules? They're infants. You can't send them to school. And I go, nature said, for the first 7 years, I will record the behavior of everyone around here because that's the behavior of a family. That's the behavior of a community. Well, if I can record it, then I got a program, how to behave. So the first 7 years, we are in a brain state called theta, which is record, hypnosis. Why? Because first you have to put programs in, and then by age 7, we get to use consciousness, which can manipulate those programs. And I say, well, this is all fabulous and great. And here we are being conscious and creating our wonderful world. And I go, well, it's not so wonderful all the time. And then I go, oh, I left out a detail that you really have to know. And that is this. The mind, which is controlling this consciousness, actually two different pieces. It's conscious and subconscious. Conscious mind is you connected to your special frequency. You and your spirit is in the conscious mind. The subconscious mind programs. That's what you got in the first 7 years. And so I say, yeah, when I'm operating from my conscious mind, I'm creating from wishes and desires because conscious mind is creative. But when I operate from subconscious mind, I just play programs. Okay? Then I give you the fact that's so important, because if you don't see it, then the world doesn't make sense. And this should make sense now. And it goes like this, that when we are conscious and paying attention, being mindful, then we are controlling our vehicle, like we have our hands on the wheel. We're driving toward whatever wishes and desires. But when we think, and this is the whole thing wrapped up, when we think, conscious mind stops looking out the window and starts looking inside the mind. So if I said to you, oh, tell me what you're doing next Sunday, and it's not in front of you, well, we're not going to see it. I said, where is it? I said, oh, it's inside. So I go and I think, what am I doing on Sunday? I go, what was the relevance? And the relevance is, I'm driving the vehicle, wishes, desires, conscious mind, going toward where I want to go. I start thinking, I let go of the wheel, because now I'm not looking out, I'm looking in. I said, yeah, but if I'm driving a car, really driving a car, and I start thinking, my consciousness is going inside looking for something. And then guess what? But you're still driving the car. I go, yeah, because subconscious is autopilot. It can do what you know how to do. And so if I'm driving a car and I'm thinking, I don't have to be paying any attention to what's on the road. Subconscious is going to be autopilot, programs autopilot. So we come to the most important conclusion of all of this rambling. And that conclusion is simply this. Each one of us is an energy frequency, because the universe is energy. Each one of us is broadcasting consciousness, which is based on our mind. And what we are broadcasting is now based on whether we're using the conscious mind to broadcast or whether we use the subconscious mind. Because when we're using the conscious mind and broadcasting, we're creating a life with wishes and desires. But when we are thinking, the subconscious mind takes over, and now we're broadcasting whatever the program is. And I say, well, so what's the relevance? And then it's like, oh my God, 95% of the day is the amount of time we are thinking. 95% of the day, your life, you are creating it, but you're creating it from the programs, not from the conscious mind's wishes and desires, but from the programs. I say, where'd you get those programs? By observing other people, parents, siblings, community. So when you're not paying attention, the behavior that's coming out is whatever the program was. And I say, why is it relevant? Because most of those programs never answer your wishes and your desires. You're recording other people's programs. And most of them are disempowering, self-sabotaging, and limiting. So now we put the whole picture back together. We're all energy in the universe. Our thoughts are energy, that they're created from the programs or our wishes and desires, or whichever source they are. Those thoughts are now being broadcast. MEG, I can read them. We're broadcasting into the field. I go, so what? And I said, if you get a large number of people to share the same thoughts, every one of them is a tuning fork. And the more tuning forks that hit at the same time with the same vibrational frequency, the power of that energy field can manifest a reality, not just for our personal selves, our personal consciousness. This is a collective consciousness. And I say, so after all these words, Lipton, what the hell are you saying? What I'm saying is simply this. We've come to a halt in the world at this moment. We're coming to a halt for a very simple reason. Because human behavior has precipitated what is called the sixth mass extinction of life, that we are in an extinction process, not 1,000 years from now, we're talking decades from now, that human civilization is totally unsustainable from the way we've been living. And nature is giving us this opportunity for stop, you're on pause. This is a moment to think. What's going on in your world? You have been so busy moving and working and putting pieces together, you never stop long enough to say, why am I here? I said, you came here to create with conscious mind. But since 95% of our life has been created by programs, we're not creating what we want, we're creating a collective consciousness. When I say, so what's the relevance? Look where we are, on the edge of an extinction, and nature says, time out. Nature says, just look around. You guys have been in your room for a month. Now look outside. See how fresh the air is? See how clean and bright everything? See, the animals are showing up all over the place again? You mean there's a garden out there? I said, once we stopped, the garden came back in. And nature is giving us this moment of thinking time. You have a choice, humans. Continue the way you guys have been going, working, devastating the planet, raping it of all of its minerals and materials and using it all up in your materialistic point of view. Or you could stop and start to recognize that the reward of life isn't the physical. The reward of the life is from the emotions. Yes, I bought a new car. Was it the new car that changed my life? No, it was the feeling I bought a new car. I may not even be there. I just thought I bought a new car. Just, oh, I got a new car. I changed my life. And so the idea about this is a pause moment and says, you know, you've been busy running around. Did you enjoy your life while you were here? Did you create something that is so wonderful that you could sit down and go, oh my God, I am the happiest guy? Because being happy is not material. Being happy is in harmony. Health, harmony. Disease, disharmony. Biology. That's how it works. I say, where's the source? Here's the source. Harmony or disharmony. And the nature is calling us to stop and look and say, if you just stop and look at what happens when you stop your busyness and start to experience the moment, you start to realize, oh my God, it's so beautiful here. Oh, there's a garden. Oh my God, there's a garden out there. And I go, we're creating a garden. And this is why being in this communication and this community right now is so important. Every one of you is a tuning fork. And in what we refer to as global days of unity is a very important insight offered. And that is, what if we collectively spent some specific period of time, and instead of broadcasting our working day thoughts, start broadcasting health and love and harmony thoughts? Because the more of us that do that, the more tuning forks in the field that are sharing that vibration, that is what shapes the universe. Einstein said it so simply and so powerful. He said the field, and let me define that, the field is invisible energy. Yes, your spirit is part of the field. Everything is in energy is in the field. We're all one giant field. Energy, the invisible part. The field is the sole governing agency of matter. What does that mean? Quantum physics emphasizes that is the invisible energy fields that shape our physical experience. I go, and what are those invisible energy fields? Your thoughts. And if we are tuning forks and Global Day of Unity trying to get how many tuning forks can we get to vibrate at the same time? Because there's each tuning fork is a unit of power. And as the tuning forks come together and share their vibration, they amplify the fields of consciousness, which then shapes matter. What would you like to see in your world? Visualize it. Stop. Nature is saying, look out the window. It's kind of beautiful out there. Hey, that's a good vision. What do you want? Happiness? Do you have to buy the car? No, you could be happy without the car. And all of a sudden you start to realize we've been misdirected to go get those material things in a Newtonian universe. And quantum physics is telling us over here, you don't. It's not the material things, it's the vibration. Love is a vibration, happiness, joy, health. And we're the tuning forks that make vibrations.
Totally, Bruce. So you mentioned the Global Days of Unity. I mean, that's a great, that's a perfect time to invite the global audience here for One Earth Live. You know, because this event is just a beautiful coming together as a one-off, co-creation, if you like, of so many different organizations. But the invitation is for everyone to keep this as a consistent pulse, which is what, we're all doing with the Global Days of Unity, and having you join us once a month on the Global Days of Unity has been absolutely amazing, and definitely a strong pulse to send out to the world. So thank you for that. But I want to ask you a question, Bruce. Look, there's been such a great breakdown, and in your book, Spontaneous Evolution, you talk about this possibility of this, where a breakdown can be this quantum leap of a breakthrough. So
Yes.
Are you feeling right now that we're on the verge of this quantum spontaneous evolution breakthrough moment?
We're on the verge, but we're on a knife edge of that verge.
Right.
Because the idea is, let's simplify this whole thing. Humans are destroying the environment because we're voracious. We eat everything out there. Take the trees, the plants, the soil. We take everything, voracious. And we pushed it to the situation now that the nature can't support us because we're breaking the web of life down. And it's asking us to change. And I say, let me give a parallel here that makes sense. And it's more than just a parallel. I think it's part of a fractal consequence. And that is this. A caterpillar is one of the most voracious insects you've ever seen. You put a caterpillar on a plant like a monarch butterfly and on a milkweed plant, and you put that caterpillar on that milkweed plant, it'd eat every damn leaf off of that plant. I mean, and I've seen it right here in my yard. There's a plant, and the caterpillars, the monarchs love that. They put their caterpillars on there. I come back a couple of days later, there's not one single leaf left on the plant. They ate all of the leaves. And I go, then what? I said, well, guess what? They reached the end. And what do? They form what is called a pupa or a chrysalis. And then I say, well, what's that? Well, it's a cocoon. I say, then what's happening in there? I say, it's a miracle what's happening there. I say, what's the consequence of that's happening? I say, a caterpillar came in and a butterfly goes out. I go, wait, what's the difference? I say, the caterpillar is the most voracious, eating everything. And the butterfly that comes out is the lightest touch on the planet, floats in the air essentially, doesn't destroy anything, and it lives and it enjoys the beauty of it because it's living in harmony. I say, why is it relevant? Now let's go back to us. I say, we're the caterpillar phase of human civilization. We're eating everything, and we pushed it against the wall now, and nature says that's it. I say, now what? I say, well, we have to go through a metamorphosis. I say, why? We need a civilization that comes out on the other side that's in harmony and health and living in the garden with cooperation. That's what our destination is. I go, well, wait, how do you go from caterpillar to butterfly? I go, in that chrysalis, that cocoon, what was going on? A caterpillar came in, and then what? Started to break down, and the cells started to come apart, and the community started to come apart, and the caterpillar started to disappear. And if you were a caterpillar cell, you'd go, oh my God, the caterpillar's dying. And I go, what's happening? It's disassembling. And I said, then what's happening? Certain cells called imaginal cells become directors. They say, look, there's a new way to build. Here's a new construction. We're going to build this butterfly. So as cells are coming down, cells are also now moving in to build the new one. Okay? So I said, if you're in the middle of this, it looks like chaos. It's like, oh my God, the whole thing's falling apart. And I go, yeah, but guess what? As it's falling apart, a new one is being built. We are in the cocoon pupa stage at this moment. The caterpillar that we've been is destructive. Anymore? Pushed it, can't do it. What do we have to do? We have to transform. I say, how do you do that? You take the structure of the caterpillar, you bring it down, and you build up the structure of the butterfly. Mm-hmm. And I say, but they're happening at the same time. Well, that's the confusing part, because then you as a bystander in the middle can look one way and go, oh my God, it's falling apart. And then you can look the other way and go, oh my God, look what they're building. And I say, so where are we? Well, most people are, oh my God, it's falling apart. I go, wrong place to put your energy, your vibration. Pull out of that. Start to look like, don't participate, because there's something being built out here that's so much better. An uplift, global days of unity, or a broadcast, a frequency being sent out, which each one of us, each one of you out there right now is broadcasting consciousness. But as we come into harmony, harmony is health. and the health of the planet. When the health of civilization is in harmony, the health of the planet will manifest. And we are right now in the point of, it's coming down, it's bailing up. Is it going to make it? And I go, depends on how many people bring their tuning forks to the new image.
I love it. So for all our wonderful audience out there, we would love to invite you to the Global Days of Unity on a regular pulse, on a regular basis. And you can just go to globaldaysofunity.com, and Dr. Bruce is with us pretty much every month now, which has been great. And it's just an ongoing, it's a wild experiment, as we say, Dr. Bruce. It's just this experiment to try and maintain and hold this frequency, this invitation to just allow yourself to drop into the beingness of the unity, peace, and love field, just so you can be this tuning fork, like you said, tuning fork, and this resonance, tuning fork, to spread this vibration across the world. So yeah, that's been a great experiment, and it's just great to be here for me personally on this weekend of One Earth Live, and to be with you, and then to really share with a big global population, a big global community coming together. So I want to ask you another question, Bruce.
Yes.
So what, this has been definitely, like you said, this resting point. Like, we're all sort of, back with our families in a lot of ways, for this period of isolation, which actually for me hasn't been isolating. It's actually been extremely rewarding to be at home and be a little bit more grounded. As you said, traveling, doing, being, going, has been quite a lot of effort. But for you yourself, I mean, what have been the gems that you've found in this period that we've had, these last months of isolation and slowing down?
Well, for me, there's some very positive things, which for other people are not very positive at the very same time. I was fortunate because at this time of the year, I teach a class in immunology, of all things, here in New Zealand. And I say what's unique is that this is not where I travel and make my career. My career is going out and giving lectures. So I didn't lose any income because this is where I was going to be without working anymore outside. But now I'm going to have to jump back in. It's a little bit different. But during this part, as I said, I was doing very well. I'm so sorry that a lot of other people are not in that place. People that were living week to week and job issues, and we really have to send our blessings to them because they're being pushed to a real hard part on this curve of what's going to do. And unfortunately, stress compromises the immune system, something I teach in immunology class about stress hormones interfering with immune health. And that's why the more people are stressed, the sicker they become. And then you start to look at the nature of the stress on the planet, and then all of a sudden how this COVID-19 and essentially has affected a lot of people much more seriously than they would have been affected if their health systems running at performance levels that are really good, but we're compromised. And so there's some good things here, and it says let's start taking care of ourselves. And all of a sudden it's like, instead of being out on the road, okay, I look at what I eat quite differently. I'm feeding 50 trillion cells in my community, and I like to, I know for the biological reason of giving them the healthiest, finest nourishment possible, because as a person who used to grow cell tissue culture, culture medium is the equivalent of blood, and we grow cells in it. And if you compromise the composition of that culture medium in any way, the cells will get sick and die. And so we have to learn how to take care of that. So people are learning a little bit about that. We also have to understand vitamins and supplements are really good for us, especially vitamin C. It's great for immune system, a lot of it. It's really good. And then start to also look at maybe, which I'm going to go do right after this, is go climb a mountain right here in the out across the road, because I need to get some exercise every now and then. And yet the most important thing is to be happy. And then to find the joy of being in my small bubble, closest with Margaret, but then we have some neighbors about, very small bubble, and start to realize how community is what is the essence and drive of evolution. And it's interesting to learn and understand the nature of community. Guess what? We are broken. There is no community now. Everybody's in their room, and stay in your room. I go, But this is the time for maybe us, this is the pause time that says, what do you miss when you're in this room? You know, was it the hamburger or the friendship? You know, you start to realize what was really important during this time. So there's a lot to learn. And the part is, well, I've been happy and living this way for a while because when I stumbled on the nature of how epigenetics and consciousness control our biology, our health, and our behavior, and it's like I was fortunate enough to understand the nature to reprogram the limitations in my programming to enjoy life as much as I do. I wake up every day and enjoy in health and happiness because it's a gift. It's a gift to be here. You're so busy working. When did you watch the sunset? You know, when I was working like a 9-to-5 thing at the university, I thought, you know, I don't see sunsets. I'm in the car at sunset going, oh, it's like, how many sunsets did I miss? Until you stop and go, wow, that's really beautiful. It's like, oh yeah, it is, isn't it? You know? So the appreciation of nature, the enjoyment of company, and the consequence of, what if I stay healthy? And the answer is, then you are. And that's my joy. I have no fear of my health issues.
Thank you, Bruce. Well, it's been absolute pleasure and honor to have you in the Zoom room today. And just want to say, love you so much and look forward to seeing you again soon. And thank you for joining us at One Earth Live today. And if once again, just to invite everybody, please come to globaldaysofunity.com and participate and join us for this monthly pulse that we'll be doing on the third weekend of every month. We'll be coming together like this in community globally. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chris. And I want to just thank our wonderful audience because you are all the cultural creatives that are going to help us move from unsustainable to a thrivable future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
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 Namaste.
Welcome
to the Global Days of Unity.
From the minute that I heard about Global Days of Unity, I understood that it was the thing for this time. The incredible coming together of people, music, song, prayer, that it's like a massive infusion of energy into consciousness, into the world. And what I love about it is it's completely accessible by anyone, anywhere. And let's create that togetherness and that cohesion third weekend of every month.
Deep inhale to the center.
Today at this session, we have a wonderful panel, wonderful presenters.
It brings together a unity that I don't think has ever really truly been done correctly. And just learning about the initiative makes my heart warm.
Put our thoughts into it and put intention into it, it can just be so powerful and can become so huge and have such a big impact.
I think what inspires me the most about the Global Days of Unity initiative is the experimental aspect of it, right? Like, this thing has never been done before. We've tried so many different things. We haven't tried people coming together with a sense of intention and joy. Let's try something new. Let's see what humanity can be. And I'm excited about that possibility.
If we send out love, then the world responds with love. So in Global Days of Unity, just imagine the consequence of a large number of people sending out wonderful thoughts of love, peace, and harmony, because we can change this planet just by the thinking of those wonderful thoughts. And in community, we re-empower each other, but we can also empower the world.
I want to invite you
The third weekend of every month.
Let us be together.
to the Global Days of Unity.
Welcome home.